If you were riding the subway in the late 1970s, you saw his name. Scene, one of the most recognized names in all of graffiti. Often called the godfather of graffiti. Starting in the early 1970s, he built his reputation by painting massive burners across the subway system. By the late 70s, his name was everywhere, dominating the 2, 5, and 6 lines with crisp lettering, bold outlines, and characters that made his whole cars instantly recognizable. Unlike many writers, he wasn't tied to just one style. He constantly experimented, refining his techniques and adapting to new challenges. As transit officials struggled to keep up with graffiti, Scene's work kept running, outlasting buff attempts and setting a standard for other writers to follow. Unlike a quick tag or throw up, whole cars changed the game. A whole car was a full subway car covered top to bottom in a single cohesive piece. Pulling one off took patience, the right materials, and knowing exactly when to move. Some were done in the dead of night deep in the train yards, while others were hit in broad daylight on layups, stationary trains resting between runs. One of Scene's most legendary whole cars was painted in broad daylight, Hand of Doom. It was a Saturday afternoon in the summer of 1980, deep in the number 6 train yard. Scene had been at it for hours, methodically laying down bold, thick letters over a striking blue background. Through the fence, a group of younger writers, what some would call toys, stood watching in awe. There were no other trains blocking the view, just a clear shot of one of the cleanest whole cars they'd ever seen coming to life. Then, something changed. The shadows on the steel shifted. The silhouettes of the onlookers disappeared, replaced by a different presence, one that wasn't there to admire his work. Cops. They had been watching him the entire time. What followed was instant chaos. Writers scattered. One tried to escape but ended up dangling from a train door, his fingers barely gripping the metal. Scene didn't hesitate. He ran. He sprinted through the yard, dodging rusted tracks and debris with police closing in behind him. But even in the middle of the chase, he stopped, just for a second, to admire a whole car he had finished the night before. Then, he was gone. Over the fence, home free. Despite the close call, Hand of Doom ran, and it ran hard, becoming one of the most famous subway pieces in New York City history. By the late 1980s, the war on graffiti had escalated. The city doubled down on buffing trains, and the golden era of subway graffiti came to an end. But Scene wasn't done. While many writers moved on, he adapted. His name started appearing on legal walls, canvases, and eventually in galleries around the world. He took the skills he mastered in the yards and applied them to fine art, proving that graffiti didn't have to die just because the trains got clean. Even beyond walls and galleries, Scene's influence runs deep. His approach to lettering, use of bold colors, and the way he brought characters into his burners continue to inspire new generations of writers. Whether it's on a freight train, a city rooftop, or a gallery wall, the DNA of Scene's style is everywhere. Few writers have left a mark as lasting as his. His work rode longer, hit harder, and set a standard that still holds weight today.